Oh, Polly, Polly. Hello name nerds, my name is Patrick and welcome to Fun with First Names, where each week we're looking into the meaning, origin and some extra fun facts behind one specific first name. And this week we're looking at the first name of Polly. But before we begin, I want to say a huge thank you to Pedro Sanchez Gonzalez and Dahiran Honeyban, because both of those people have become patrons the most recent week. Thank you guys so much. Supporting Name Explained on Patreon helps out in the best way possible. I've kind of started this pledge of trying to hit $700 a month by the end of March, but with the global situation and just how expensive everything is right now, I'm not as fussed about doing that anymore. You guys spend your money in more important places, or fuel or electricity, whatever you guys need to do right now, because the struggle is real. But regardless of that, I still super appreciate anyone who still feels inclined to donate on Patreon at the moment. That means so much. You're helping myself out. You're helping the whole channel out. Thank you guys so much. If you do want to become a patron, patreon.com/Name Explained, link down below. If we do somehow hit $700 a month before the end of March, I will go film a video somewhere in the wild somewhere, but thank you guys very much. But anyway, on with today's name of Polly, and Polly is an odd name in the fact it doesn't really have an etymology unto itself. Polly is just an alternative form of the name Molly. Supposedly, this formation from Molly into Polly happened during medieval times, but how that top consonant changed, I don't know. Molly, Polly, it might just rhyme. People like rhymey sort of names like that. Molly, Polly, that sort of thing. So it probably just came from that. Someone probably just once called, hey, Molly, Polly, and Polly just became a name, but literally Molly is just a formation of Polly. So that's fascinating to its own way, I suppose. And if you're wondering, holly isn't a form of Molly or Polly. Holly, as in the first name, it just comes from the holly bushes, holly trees, holly berries, from the little round guys you see at Christmas time. Aww. And as for where we got the name Molly from, that's simply a diminutive of Mary. So it went Mary, Molly, Polly, which really is quite a unique formation how Mary became Polly. We don't really associate those two names together. Molly is the missing link between Mary and Polly, and I think that's interesting. And it's one of those cases where in a nickname, a diminutive form, the first letter changes. We don't really see that all too often. Normally, the part of a name that stays the same is normally the beginning, but that isn't the case with Molly and Polly, and that's quite cool too. Though I personally feel that Polly's origin and etymology isn't the most interesting thing about this name. The thing I find most interesting about the name Polly is how it's become really synonymous with one specific kind of animal. That being the animals of parrot. Parrot and Polly go really hand in hand. Polly has become the de facto name for parrots. Even parrots that aren't called Polly get called Polly. They normally get asked if they want crackers too.
Polly want a cracker?
I checked this. Crackers are not good food for animals.
I said, Polly want a cracker?
Nah, give me a short beer.
Don't feed your parrot crackers, kids, unless it's a treat. I googled, I checked, if it's a treat, feed them a cracker, but otherwise just don't feed them crackers, feed them like grubs and seeds. I think that's what parrots eat, or fruit? I don't know, parrots are cool. Maybe I should get a parrot. I'm not gonna get a parrot. Maybe I should get a parrot. Anyway, how on earth did this name of Polly become so deeply linked with parrots? I imagine a huge part of this is due to alliteration. We humans, we love alliterative names, especially in like kids fiction, like Polly the parrot kind of just makes sense. If you watch any TV show with talking animals aimed at children, they will most likely have a name that alliterative with the animal they are. I'm looking at you, Peppa Pig.
I'm Peppa Pig.
Polly and parrot just go hand in hand together, kind of like Peppa and, well, pig. That's like the best example. I'm sure there's other examples. Bodger and badger. I mean, there's Bodger. Was Bodger? No, Bodger was the human, Badger was the badger, but Badger wasn't called Bodger, but if the badger was called Bodger. If you're a kid in the 90s, you know what I'm talking about. You know, in the UK, you know. However, it's for that Polly became synonymous with parrots for more than just alliterative reasons. Some people believe that there's one particular play, of all things, that helps cement Polly as the de facto parrot name. That being the play of Volpone, a 1606 comedy written by one Ben Jonson, a mate of Shakespeare from what I gathered. Who knew Shakespeare had friends? I reckon if I was that good at writing, I'd probably have more friends too. This is a comedy play set in Venice, and all the characters in the play kind of have representative animals. Now, I've actually seen this play myself. I don't know if it's supposed to be like these characters are the animals, like some sort of Zootopia type scenario, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's more they have representative animals to them. Each character is represented with some sort of animal. Maybe in some productions they are dressed up like these animals. I don't know, like the actual name of Volpone, which I think I'm pronouncing right, it's not Volpone as I initially thought. That means sly fox in Italian, and Volpone is the name of the main character himself, and he's a very sly, cunning character, supposedly, and he is represented with a fox, hence the name of the play, hence the character animal representation. English literature student, I believe this is an English literature book, so you might have studied this at school and probably know way more about it than I do. Tell me down below, thank you. One of the other comedic characters in this play is a character called Sir Politic Woodby. Why he's called that, I have no idea. It's a very odd name, but I haven't read this play or watched this play, like I said. If you know, let me know. His name, however, is often shortened to just Sir Poll. Sir Poll. Remember that. It's important. He is a clueless Englishman in Venice and has no clue what is going on around him. However, he wants to be part of the Venice wealthy elite, so to do that, he just mimics everything else everyone is saying without actually knowing what they're actually saying. This usually leads to some sort of comedic effect, supposedly. Like I said, I haven't watched the play, thanks Sparks Notes for this. Because his main trait is mimicking what everyone else says around him, guess what animal he is represented with? You guessed it right, the parrot. This is because parrots are extremely well known for mimicking people. They can mimic human voice. It's really impressive. I want to do a video about how parrots learn to speak because it's just a really interesting subject, but that's for another time. Though, of course, as I remembered, Sir Politic's Woodby's nickname is Sir Poll. I told you that would be important. So this name of Sir Poll / just Poll became linked with parrot, and all over the world, people started calling their parrots just Poll in ode to this character from this play. This might seem strange, but people name their pet after fictional versions of those creatures all the time. For example, my pet tortoise is called Bowser, so if it seems strange, it happens. This name of Poll for parrots then got a diminutive form of Polly. I mean, that just makes all the sense in the world. When we give our pets names, we often give them diminutive forms of that name. So if a parrot is just called Poll, you can imagine someone baby talking to that parrot going, oh, Polly, Poll, Polly. And that's kind of how it happened. We do it all the time with names. We always talk like babies to our pets. Apart from Bowser, I actually don't baby talk Bowser the tortoise. I speak to him very seriously. I'm like, you right, mate? What are you doing? It's odd. I don't see him as a pet. I see him as an equal. And from this, Polly became the de facto name for parrots. So yeah, supposedly we have this 1606 play to thank for Polly becoming the parrot name. I didn't see that coming, that's for sure. And for those wondering, Pirates and specifically Treasure Island had nothing to do with this. I thought it might have come from Treasure Island, but the parrot in Treasure Island isn't even called Polly. He's called Captain Flint. Once again, Spark Notes to the rescue. Haven't read Treasure Island. Should read Treasure Island at some point. Haven't you seen the Muppets version? That's poor going. I love the Muppets, but I haven't watched that one yet. Polly is not a popular name in the USA at the moment. In fact, it hasn't been in the top 1,000 since 1977, where it was the 798th most popular name. Just have to check my notes right then to remember I got that number right. However, in the UK it is a lot more popular, being the 205th most popular girl's name. So it's definitely more of a UK-based name than a American-based name, it would seem. Interesting, didn't know that. I haven't really met many Pollies over here, but it's coming. Maybe it's going to be more popular in the next few years. Maybe more Pollies are coming. The Pollies are coming. Be careful, I suppose. I don't think they're parrots though, they're probably humans. That's fine too. Famous Pollies include P.J. Harvey. P.J. Harvey is a musician, and that P in her name, of course, stands for Polly. She's a musician, she's a multi-instrumentalist. She looks very impressive. I couldn't name you any of her songs or performances up top, I'm afraid, but she seems pretty darn good with her music. When I think of famous Pollies, Polly James from Radio X comes to mind. She's a really great DJ over on Radio X, which is a alternate rock radio station here in the UK. Chris Moore was on there, Danny Wallace on there, important broadcast. Peepo, if you know, you know. But yes, she's really great. I love her. She's on like Drive Time, I think, on Sundays and other times in the day. Polly James, go listen to her radio station. She's great on there. And of course, I couldn't not mention Polly Pocket, man. Polly Pocket looks so much fun. I really like little itty bitty micro worlds. Of course, because of gender roles, I wasn't allowed to play with Polly Pocket. I don't know if I wanted to play with Polly Pocket. I don't know. I always thought it was really cool. Luckily, boys had Mighty Max, and I loved me some Mighty Max, but I don't know, it's kind of silly. If boys want to play Polly Pocket or if girls want to play Mighty Max, go for it, because I don't know, it's just toys, isn't it? It's just bits of plastic. But yes, and also of course Mighty Max is alliterative to 2 M's, 2 P's, Polly Pocket. Toy spiel over. Play with what you want to play with. But anyway, that's more than enough about the name Polly, but what are your thoughts on this name? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you know anyone with the name Polly? Are you called Polly yourself? Let me know down in the comments below. And of course, I just want to share some of the thoughts you guys had on last week's name of Chelsea. Brady W. Hickman said, in America, Chelsea is a stereotypical teen girl name like Becky or Tiffany. So those are interestingly both names we talked about as well, how Becky and Tiffany sort of basic American girl names. So I guess Chelsea's like the trifecta with them, the holy trinity of basic American girl names are all covered here on Name Explain. And of course, just because they have that stereotype doesn't mean it's all true. And even if you are a white American girl, that's fine, I guess. Be who you want to be, I guess. Just don't be annoying, really, I suppose. Steffi said, I'm from Croydon, totally my next child's name. Also, my cousin's name is Chelsea. She was named after the football club. Hey, Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. So yeah, as I mentioned in that previous video, I support Chelsea as well. And Amber informed me, Amber who works behind the cameras and videos, she's a Chelsea supporter too. So this Chelsea's in good company here on Name Explain. I'm really proud to hear that your next child's going to be called Croydon. When that happens, let me know. I want to be the kid's godfather. I probably shouldn't say that on the internet. I don't think any bad consequences will come from that. If you want me to be your child's godfather, just drop me a DM. Like, let's see what happens. I'll turn up somewhere, maybe, say some words. Don't know. And David S. Cameron said, I hope you're not that David Cameron, because I don't want you watching my videos. Not you, David S. Cameron, but that David Cameron. He should be watching these videos. If he does, well, you're a bad man. Yeah, he said, every football club in England is named after the place it inhabits. Yes, that's more or less correct. So, sport team names are something I really want to cover in the future. The problem is here in England, they're not that interesting because pretty much every sports team, especially for football, is named after where they are. It's like Chelsea Football Club, Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, Newcastle, Plymouth Argyle, Green Army. But there aren't many that aren't that. They're pretty obvious, boring. Now, I guess the biggest example is Arsenal. Arsenal is their place. I think that area is now referred to as Arsenal in London, but it doesn't come from that. We'll talk about it in a video one day, maybe. Who knows? Go suggest some names down in the comments below, and I'll pick 3 of those to be put into a poll exclusively for my patrons to vote on, and the winner of that poll will be covered in the next Fun with First Names video. So if you enjoy the channel, want to help support it, and have a say in what names get explained, please do consider becoming a patron. Like I said, guys, only do it if you can afford to. Money's tight at the moment around the world, so if you do have a spare couple quid after paying for everything else you need in life, go do that first. If you've got some spare money, if you're like, hey, I could throw this money down the drain and I wouldn't feel bad about it, instead of throwing it down the drain, why not consider throwing it to Name Explain on Patreon? If you want to, that is. You get loads of extra goodies. Patreon.com/Name Explain. Link down below. But anyway, that's more than enough for myself. Don't forget to go follow me on Instagram where I'm Name Explain YT, and don't forget to go join the Facebook group Friends of Name Explain. Okay guys, take care. Just checking recording. Polly is actually simply a defamation? What is that? Is that a word? No, an alternate form. Hand in hand. Parrot is... What am I saying here? Because his main trait is... about to say parroting, I was about to give it away. Where's my clicker? There's my clicker. 798 in 1977. Have I told you I have some weird number dyslexia, Amber? Sorry, I just noticed my hair's... did this bit of my hair. Put my hairband into. Dignity restored. Brady, I think. This is going to be really sexy, ready? I'm too sexy for my shirt.